welcome back to Let's Talk Fashion. It's your boy Cameron, filling in for Remo, aka Mr. Rich Threads. I just have to say, you have to subscribe to the channel because we're almost at 200 subscribers. Please hit the subscribe button.
Hey Cameron, you downstairs in the studio?
No, Dad.
I'm sitting in my chair. What the hell? Somebody move my chair? Alright, I guess not. Let's get started. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Fashion. You already know who it is. It's your boy Remo, aka Mr. Rich Threads. And give yourself a round of applause, everybody who's been constantly checking in, tapping in with the culture, whether we talk sports, whether we talk fashion, whether we talk the culture. We really talk that talk over here. And it's the Let's Talk Fashion, powered by the JBT Network. Thank you for liking, commenting, keeping me engaged, sharing, disliking, whatever you want to do. We're going to do it down low. We're going to discuss it, send it to somebody, tag somebody, whatever's clever. But let's jump right into it. On this week's episode, being that it's still Black History Month, what other to do than highlight some stylists, some people behind the scenes, people who really make these stars, these athletes, these entertainers really look like something. Now you say, all right, they got the money, but do they have the style? Do they have the pizzazz? 9 out of 10 times, these athlete stars, they're born in like middle America. They don't know nothing about no fashion. They don't know nothing about no high end. They get put in a place where somebody could take care of them and make them look like something. Not everybody has a chance to say, oh, they're born in the capital of fashion, or, you know, they grew up in an era with money, or, you know, around the dealers and they had influences, and this is what my uncle or my grandfather used to wear, so I try to emulate them. A lot of them was squares. Let's keep it real. They went to school for whether it be acting or music, or I don't know what the hell they went to school for. But guess what? These kids wasn't really the kids that was outside in the streets doing anything. So why not put somebody in place to make them look like somebody? And I want to start with one of the biggest in the industry is June Ambrose. When you say the name Jay-Z, Missy Elliott, Diddy, Mace, Kerry Washington, Luther motherfucking Vandross, Big Luther that is, and many more. Let's say Mary J. Blige. You know Mary J. with the big boots. This is June Ambrose's style. She's putting her hand on these people and she's making them look like gold. And time again, from the early 90s to the current ages, she's putting her hand in fashion in an element in a way that, you know, it deserves to be highlighted. Because you say, oh, when did she get her big break? That more money, more power, that era, golden era. Golden era of hip hop, golden era of fashion, golden era of the 90s. Belly, Hype Williams. We know Belly right now is one of the most, I wouldn't say it's an A-list movie, but in the culture for us, it was like gold standard, to the point where New Balance even dropped a release this year showing that their appreciation for the movie Belly. Belly was a dope time. June Ambrose has always been a dope stylist, hand, foot in the game, and we definitely gotta appreciate her for all the work that she's ever put in. And this is why we're here. Black History Month. Show her some flowers, man. For real, for real. A little bit more modern. You say Kelly Rowland, Ciara, Cardi B, Normani. Then you get the name Colin Carter. Yeah, the look behind the machine. The young man has put a stamp in the game, and this was styling. He's from the Bronx, actually. He's from New York City, where his layouts was most epic. His biggest moment was probably at the Grammys, where he made Cardi B look like the showstopper of all showstoppers. And his style itself, his personal style is very eclectic. Where, usually you walk into a room, and if you're really into style and you're really into fashion, you don't have to really say much because your outfit is kind of taking over the room. You're putting your thoughts and your feel on who you are as a person when it comes to style in front of everybody on display. And he's taking that same effort that he takes with himself and put it onto his clients. And this is perfect in hip hop because personality means a lot. Some people are not, comfortable talking to the camera. Some people are anonymous where they just don't like to speak. They don't like to engage, whether they're shy or they're introverted or whatever the case is, but their outfits are very loud. This is the talking point. This is the introduction to what we know as fashion, as style, as pizzazz. And this young man, Colin Carter, he's holding it down. And up top from the Bronx, we appreciate you, New York, man. You already know the deal. And last but not least, I would like to highlight some youth. Shayna Charles, definitely from Brooklyn. When you say Sis Santana, Queen Latifah, Tiana Taylor, Cardi B, she's assisted and also has styled a lot of these artists and many more. Whereas like now the youth is getting a chance to put their stamp in the game because, throughout time, fashion does tend to change and the feel of fashion does change. It's a youthful sport. Let's call it a sport at that because it does take a lot of effort. It does take a lot of moving parts to actually sit down with a client and see what that person is like, but now bring your element to styling and your effort and what you see in your eye on having somebody actually trust you to be that vision for them. And when it comes together and it's lovely, your work is recognized, your client is happy, and you both grow together. Because at this point in time, Shayna Charles, she's young in the game, but she's getting her just due. For real, for real. So once again, if you want to check out some of her work, she's in Fresh Magazine and Vogue. It's what is it? Italy, I believe it is Vogue Italy. But she's in one of the Vogues. But listen, shout out to her, young stylist. It's Black History Month, and there's more to come. Give us a few, and we'll be right back.
Now a word from our sponsors.
Welcome back, everybody. Got a special one here for you, man. Got a special guest. I don't know if you want to call him Rich Threads. I don't know if you want to call him Mr. Rich Threads, Remo, the fashion god. I don't know. I'll let him tell you better than I can. What's going on, my brother? Good looking for having me on, man. Definitely appreciate you having me on your platform. I've been watching. I've been feeling everything that you got going on so far. And I'm loving the layout of the show and exactly what the name of the show is. Let's Talk Fashion. I am here for that. I appreciate you having me once again, my boy. Listen, man, it's but so often I can actually sit down and talk fashion with somebody. So it's great to have you on the show. And while I'm here, let's jump right into it, man. Big fan of your work. But tell the people, what actually got you into fashion? Like, what's the origin story when it comes to you and fashion and your likeness for this lane? Now, when it comes to fashion, you say fashion. Damn, it's so many golden eras in my journey of fashion. Where I mean, like, it's hard to label one and say this is the origin of my story because as a shorty, I was into the Nike basketball athletes and, what they wore, whether it be Charles Barkley, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Penny Hardaway, Allen Iverson. And those are eras of 80-something all the way down to the 90s. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we had a long time lapse where sports meant something. And with the footwear and the gear and Deion Sanders and jewelry and all that shit mattered when it came to us. And then it came to the point where the athletes were intertwined with whether it be the rappers, the actors, and it kept going. So it's no, like, I can't pinpoint one moment where I say, this was it for me, but I really enjoyed being a kid, being able to shop, because my parents had a little bit of money. They weren't, I wouldn't say I came from wealth, but I was able to afford things. And to be able to shop as a kid and be confused in the store, because during that time, everything was available. There was no sneakers apps. There was no lines. It was your favorite athlete or whoever dropped a shoe, and you were able to go out and get him. And then during that time, it was like, the Attitude Era, where it'd be Coconut, whether it be damaged jeans. Guess started rolling around during that time. They had Cross Color. Cross Color had the Bugs Bunny and Tasmanian Devils wearing Jordans. It was so playful and an enjoyable moment in fashion that I really, really enjoyed, like thoroughly enjoyed it. And I think up to today, like, that time has never been recreated. And it's just a dope era, man. And I loved it. I loved every minute of that growing up as a kid, man. For real, for real. Cool. So, with that being said, what's your favorite era of fashion? I know for me, like, I've always liked, when streetwear kind of balled into to fashion, that 90s, early 2000s range where, like, you've seen a lot of streetwear fashion become the mainstream fashion. But for you, what was your favorite era, and like what are you into, or what were you into that made you who you are today? If I had to say it was one thing that made me a fashion person, it might have been shopping and going out looking for clothes and enjoying a moment of doing that. Like, that was a moment in itself where everybody either grouped up or ganged up, and we all said, all right, we're gonna go to 42nd Street, and then we're gonna work our way back downtown, stop at Soho, and then we might stop at the local boutiques, whether it be Tom, Dick, or Harry's or something like that. And it became like almost like hunting. You were hunting pieces that everybody wasn't wearing. It was real fun. It was an eclectic moment during my early stages of fashion, where it was just dope, man, to the point where I ended up saying to myself, like, I'm spending all this money on clothes, hats. Would I be interested in actually starting a brand? So that idea came around, say, 2010. The brand actually launched in 2010, but I wouldn't say I knew what the hell I was doing for another 3-4 years, because I didn't go to school for it. I was just a kid that just got fly and just wanted to start his own line. So I could admit now, first couple of capsules were probably trash, but I found myself with a lane. And it started again with sneakers, where I was creating clothing geared around sneakers, geared around special releases. And I got my big break actually on 106 in Park. I was actually doing construction during the time, and my phone kept going off. Well, I'm digging a hole. I'm thinking it's nothing. Lo and behold, everybody's calling me like, yo, your shirt is on 106 in Park. I'm like, what? 106 in Park? They started sending me some of the clips and the videos, because back then there was no Instagram. So somebody had to actually sit down there and watch the TV and send me a video of what was going on TV. I got out that damn hole so fast. I said, man, listen, I'm out of here, man. And from that point in time, I just got the bug. And I felt as though, I was going to take Riche Threads to another level. And then, that's where the name and the moniker Mr. Riche Threads comes from. That point right there. So now, what would you say is your current thoughts on fashion? I know fashion has changed from its time where, you came up as a shorty to now it's really evolved, I should say, into something totally different. I don't know, for the good, for the bad, for the ugly, but like, it's just different. I know we both can agree that fashion has changed in a tremendous way, but in your view, what do you feel as though the current state of the fashion is right now? So when you discuss the current stage of fashion, I think fashion has lost a lot of its elements, where fashion was a creative type of lane. It was like art almost. Like, everybody wouldn't mind being themselves, and the clothes was like kind of the tailored part to a canvas where the human is a canvas. And I think a lot of people lost that element of being creative where everybody seemed to be like kind of like robotic and stuck in their own lanes where everybody's dressing the same. Everybody wants to have the same look. There's no creativity to it. And a lot of those that do get creative, and I definitely salute my hat to them, is like, you know, what made you layer certain things up? What made you feel as though like you want to put this together? And it was kind of fly to see it because the creativity is what keeps fashion at its essence. I'm going to say that again. Creativity is what keeps fashion at its essence. Not who looks to wear this, not who's just doing it for a look. Because if you could throw on something and you'll never wear it again, that means you did it for a viral moment. The kids say viral these days. The viral moment is what they're seeking. They're not seeking the look of being fly, coming outside, having that feel like, yo, I'm about to lay something together and it's going to be something that, like that's that, you know? And that's an element that I think is just missing in today's society. And I think people are just chasing what they see. And it's no longer about, you know, form-fitting clothing for their size, their look. Like they got big dudes wearing skinny jeans with their calves exposed. Like, why can I see your calf muscles through your jeans? They not your size, my brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that there's not a size or a look for somebody of a different shape, but you got to find your lane and enjoy your lane. It's cool to have fun with fashion. That's why I started this whole brand where it's like, you know, I don't have to look like everybody. And we know fashion is an evolving door where, you know, you see looks come back into play. You see things come back into the fold from back in the day. And it's more paying homage than it is copycatting more than anything. But then you see people do things and it just doesn't look right. And those are the things I think should not be a part of the culture anymore because it's taken away from what fashion could be and the greatness of where it could be once again. For real, for real. Being a brand designer, in your opinion, what gives you the longevity in the brand and sticking around? And let's be honest with you, what's something that you're tired of seeing when it comes to fashion these days? Like, what could go away and you wouldn't be upset that it's no longer available? Too long-winded. When it comes to longevity in this fashion shit, it's like, it's not an easy lane to take, you know, because it's so many ebbs and flows. Like it's high highs and low lows when it comes to this because fashion changes so often. The silhouettes of what people are into changes so often. And you usually come across brands that are hot as frizz grease. And then the next year, you don't really see them anymore. You don't know what happens. Sometimes it gets oversaturated. Sometimes the people are just done with it. Sometimes they might say something in the media and it's taken the wrong way, or they just said some foul shit and people kind of like abanish them. It's like, you know, they don't want to be affiliated with a certain brand because of a hot take they might have said, or, you know, a Kanye moment or something like that. And then you know, they got to start over. But what I do want to say is, you know, I think all brands that are independent brands and designers shouldn't be so willing to sell out. Because what happens is the high-end fashion houses usually tap in to these designers because they like what they're going on. They see the movement. They see that they're moving numbers when it comes to the culture itself. And they tend to buy into that, where they oversaturate the markets in places where it becomes available in abundance, let's just say. And then the feel of the brand typically changes to the point where now nobody wants it, but you lose creative control of this brand for a couple of years. And by the time you actually get the brand back, the value of the brand, it might be higher as far as dollar amount because, you know, you made a substantial amount from it, but you don't get a chance to really recoup that movement, that one flash pattern moment that you had got at that point in time, because it's hard to recreate a moment like that. But most of these fashion houses, they do that in order to slow down the momentum as well. So it's like, is it working in our favor or their favor? Sometimes you might need to hold out a little bit, you know, and really figure out the lane and the path that you want to go. So even as kids, growing up in Brooklyn, we came up with a brand called Riche. It was one of my favorite brands, I must say, where it fooled the market so much because we thought this thing was moving like hotcakes. And come to find out, as I got older, that they were only putting a select amount of shirts in each location, and a very few amount of locations had these. So now when they told them that it's releasing here, it builds up a frenzy. It causes things to go crazy. So they had lines at the small Vinnie's, Brooklyn Circus, couple spots in Harlem, like where everybody was leaving from area to area just to be a part of a wave, a movement, and it built a hype. Just like something like whether it be the Slow Bucks era with the snail t-shirt, or now you have denim tear, where denim tear is everywhere. But it was once upon a time where it's like you seen flowers on a shirt or a pair of jeans. It was like, oh, what is that? And now it's just like you're so tired because it's been oversaturated to the point where it's on sweatpants and sweatshirts and tall white tees, and it's on Amazon. It's hard. It's very hard to sustain your lane unless you're like, the LVs or the Gucci's, where cancel culture doesn't really work. But independent wise, we got to do what's best for us, man. For real, for real. Listen, before you get out of here, definitely let everybody know how to follow you, how to get in contact with you if need be, about the brand, and anything else I need to know about you. Now's the time, my brother. I definitely appreciate you having me, man. You could always shop with Riche Threads at Riche_Threads on IG, RICHE_Threads, or RicheThreads.com. We're working on some new merch, new lines, and we got a dope collaboration coming out with Let's Talk Fashion. I think, matter of fact, the link is in the bottom, man. You could definitely purchase some new merch. It's a collaboration between Riche Threads and Let's Talk Fashion TV. Once again, man, Remo, definitely appreciate you for having me. And I'm out of here, Mr. Riche Threads himself. Peace. Definitely appreciate you hopping on with us. And gonna pay some bills. We'll be right back. Let's get right back into it, where we discuss everybody's favorite segment is either fashion or clashing. You know how it goes. We look at a few looks, things that's going on in and around sports, fashion, society. We got crazy last week. But it's the fashion and clashing segment where we discuss a couple of new looks, a couple things going on, and y'all give y'all opinion whether y'all feeling it, whether y'all not. You're digging the looks, you're not. Fashion clashing. Let's start off this week's fashion clashing segment with Tyler the Creator. Tyler the Creator has been brought in by Louis Vuitton. I really, really like this look for them. Tyler's a very eclectic, kind of, quirky guy, but in all saying with all of that, I think this was a dope move by Louis Vuitton. It's injecting a little bit of youth into the lineup. You do have Pharrell over there. He's a little bit, long-winded. I don't know what's going on with that whole cowboy theme. Leave that shit to Beyonce. We not even, I don't even know what's going on with that. Just because you gave us a couple Tims and shit, we not even really jacking that shit. So, I don't know what's going on with the whole Pharrell thing, but Tyler, I'm liking what I'm seeing from Tyler. Tyler giving his creative, feel to, Tyler's a little different, but he's very stylish. He's very fashion forward. He spent a lot of time with Rocky. And, you get the Babushka Boys, whatever you want to call it. But, I'm liking some of the stuff that I'm seeing from Louis Vuitton. I'm definitely fashioning this whole, the whole rollout. I don't know if it's a collabo or he's going to be brought in to be a creative director. I don't know his exact title. But down from the shoes, from the bags, from the jackets, the cuts of the pants, we got scarves. We got a little bit of everything. We bringing a little Igor feel to this one. And if you ain't familiar with Igor, you better get familiar. But Tyler is very creative. And I think he was the perfect person to put in place to be, I don't know, I'm saying a collabo. Let's go with collaboration. I think he's probably the best person right now you can use for a collabo because he's creative and he's youthful. And he's going to give Louis Vuitton a different feel. And I think it's a good look for them. Speaking of Louis Vuitton, let's stay in the lane of Louis Vuitton, LV, whatever it might be. But they did have a campaign with LeBron James. LeBron James is probably one of the most safest star athletes that we have of all time. He's never looked out of pocket with anything he's done when it comes to fashion. And for him being 6'8", 6'9", 260, sometimes 75, sometimes 80, whatever you want to label him as in weight class or whatever the case might be, but the dude never looks out of place. And for LV to take a risk with a dude like LeBron, it kind of is like a hand in glove fit, to be honest with you. I like everything I've seen, and the campaign looks very, very clean. And I think it's dope that they brought in LeBron James. Like, it's kind of fire because LeBron James, he's at the top of the hill almost. Yeah, 20. We said this all the time, 39 years old, whatever it might be. He's a little gray now. But as the astute black man, he looks like he definitely plays the part. And Louis Vuitton shows him the perfect athlete because you can't go any safer than LeBron James. So, salute to LV, making tremendous moves over there. Shout out to LeBron, and it's definitely clashing on my behalf because I'm feeling everything I like. Everything going on over there so far. And I ain't really even a high-end guy. It's kind of crazy. Now, let's get into a real conversation. Yo, Playboy Carti. The fuck you doing, my nigga? Like, what's going on with you? You looking crazy out here. We wearing thongs now? Makeup? I don't know what's going on with this era, this society, this new wave of kids when it comes to music and emotions and fashion. This ain't the shit that I grew up on. And I'm definitely clashing this whole segment. Dudes walking around the streets wearing fishnets and thongs. Don't think we was going to save it because you had a little camo on. Nah, I don't know what's going on. And I don't even know if I feel even comfortable even talking about this. But dude's looking crazy. I don't know what has changed in him where he feel as though this is the wave and this is the direction that you want to go. But please, we ain't even doing that right now. For real, for real. So, Playboy, I don't even feel like calling you Playboy Carti. Sorry, it's over. We ain't jacking that, man. Definitely clashing that. Now, this one right here hurts my heart to talk about, man. FABOLOUS. Fabulous. Come on. Let's talk about it, man. Fabulous recently have been, seen with a lot of questionable fits. And, being that, Fab was one of the, I would say, one of the GOATs when it came to fashion in the New York area. Whether it be the jersey era, whether it be the hat era, whether it be Riche Young. He did a lot of Gucci-inspired stuff, but was Fab a beneficiary of his lady? Damn, it hurts me to say this, man. But the looks that we got from Fab over those years, was that all Emily B? It came to the point where they felt comfortable roasting Fab on Instagram. And once again, I say this with all pride. It hurts my heart to say this, but Fab, it might be the end of an era, man. I might have to actually clash Fab. It's wild to say, it's wild to admit, but You no longer have it, my boy. The youth are taking over. And sometimes, we see our, the people we emulated as kids growing up start to become older. But sometimes not dressing in your lane, not staying up to the times, not having the right people around you affects what you look like when you come outside. I give you examples of some people who have aged gracefully and it looks appropriate. Like Nas does a great job staying in his lane with fashion. Fat Joe, he's from uptown, so it's like a little bit more loud, But Fab, come on now. We could do better than this. It's a Brooklyn thing. So respectfully, I'm definitely gonna have to clash a lot of Fab's new looks. Like once again, I said it hurts my heart being from that. I'm from Brooklyn, but it is what it is, man. Shout out to everybody tapping in with us. And another great episode. I appreciate you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, let's talk fashion. And we out of here. Peace.